So, Christy, welcome to class, and anyone else who might join or watch the video later, thank you for joining me in this practice today. So, I just want to preface the class to just to remind you all that it's really important to know your own body's restrictions and limitations, and to listen to your body more importantly than you listen to my instruction. So just to keep you safe, make sure you come out of any pose or stop any pose that's causing any pain. A little uncomfortable is okay, but no sharp pain. So also, if you can have a blanket or two, and fold them so that kind of fold them so they've got some height to them, because we're going to be lying back across them. I'm going to be putting our sacrums on the back here, so that's one thing. If you have a strap with you, that's great. If not, that's fine. And if you have blocks, you can have them here also. So with all that said, let's begin our practice. So you can sit in a comfortable position, your legs crossed or in front of you, or sitting in a chair if that's more comfortable, or you can be lying down on your backs with your feet on the ground and knees pointed up. So just find that comfortable position. And once you're in your comfortable position, just begin to relax. So you can let your eyes gently close and take a nice deep inhale and exhale with a collective sigh. Beginning to let go of our days, our busy days, our worries, concerns, and all the thoughts going on racing around in our heads as we bring our attention to our bodies. So let your attention gently rest on your body, and let your body gently rest into the ground. Feel where your body makes contact with the earth, and scan your body right now for any tension you might be holding, any gripping, any teeth clenching, frowning. And just take your breath to that area. Nice inhale and exhale to soften and release. Now take your attention to your breath. Feel the gentle inhale coming through your nostrils and exhaling through your nostrils. Notice your body moving under your breath. And just let that breath move easily through your body. Keeping your attention on your breath can help with quieting your mind. So we're going to do a really simple breathing practice here to try and do that. We're going to try and quiet our minds by concentrating on our breath. And it's simple enough that it's going to be a 3-count inhale and a 3-count exhale. So you're going to want a nice, deep, and full inhale all the way to the lower belly. And then on the count of 3, and that count can be your own count. And then a full and steady exhale. So full exhale all the way out on a count of 3. So with your eyes closed, we'll do this for a minute. So I'm going to set a timer. So whenever you find your mind wandering, just bring it back to the 3 count. 3 count inhale, 3 count exhale, and we'll begin now. And as you count, just picture your breath as the waves coming onto the shore on the exhale, and then inhaling, receding back into the ocean. Chime was to end our very short breathing practice there. That was 1 minute. So you can go back to your normal breathing pattern. And hopefully that's taken you down a little notch, down a notch from your stressful day and starting to come into your body. So make sure you keep your attention on your body as we go through today's practice. So we are going to start. I just want to make sure anyone who joined that they have a couple of, one blanket at least that's built up to give it a bit of height. We're going to be lying our backs over it. If you have 2, you can even have 2 to build up a bit more height. So just have that to the side, but we'll begin lying on our backs. Knees pointed up, feet flat on the mat, and you can have your arms out by your side. Take your feet out to the width of the mat, and we'll just start with a very gentle windshield wiper, swaying the knees from side to side, like the reeds swaying in the wind. And you can just start gently, and you don't need to go all the way over. But as your hips and lower back and pelvis start to warm up, you can let the knees drop a little bit further over to one side. And inhale as you bring them to center and over to the other side. Inhale as you bring them to center. You can let the opposite hip come up off the ground. And let the weight of the knees and gravity take you further over. Keep your shoulders relaxed down on the mat, your neck long, the back of your neck long. And if you want to pause on one side and open up that, the upper side of the body, the higher side. Take a few breaths there and then come up and pause over on the other side. Across the upper thigh and the lower back, the side torso. And then just gently continue swaying the knees, waking up the lower body. And then when you've done one more round, you can bring your knees back to center. And take that rolled up blanket or that stacked blanket, place it about halfway down your mat. Your head's going to be one end. Your lower back and sacrum is going to rest on the blanket. So get into position with the lower back and sacrum resting on your built up blanket. I don't know if you can see it very clearly on my mat. And then rest back. You can have your arms just by your side here. So you are in somewhat of a supported bridge pose so that your lower back is elevated. And now bring your knees up to vertical. So your kneecaps are pointing up to the ceiling, and you can just let your feet dangle here. So a nice deep inhale. Exhale, bring your knees towards your chest and use your tummy muscles, your belly muscles to squeeze your knees into your chest. Inhale, bring the knees back to vertical. Exhale, the knees come in towards the chest using your lower belly muscles. Inhale, knees to vertical. And just do this a few more times on your own breath cycle. Exhaling as the knees come in, activating the belly as the knees come in. To get that full exhale as the knees compress the lower belly. One more round. And then you can bring your feet, both feet, toes and heels down onto the mat, and cross your, cross your right ankle over your left knee. We're going to do the same thing using the exhale and the inhale for our movement. So we're going to keep the left foot on the mat, but we're going to inhale and exhale. Use your breath to push or to draw your knee away, your right knee away from your body. So the bent knee, the upper knee is drawing away from the body. Inhale and release. Exhale, draw that knee away from the body and lengthen your thigh muscle from the hip to the knee. Inhale, release. Exhale, draw that knee away from the body, lengthening the right thigh from the hip to the knee. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, release, and exhale. Draw the knee away from the body, opening up the hip. One more time. Okay, now you can bring the right foot down onto the mat to meet the left foot. Bring the left knee in now to the chest and wrap your hands around your left knee. And once again, using the breath, we are this time on the exhale, we're going to draw the foot away from the body, lengthening the leg. So inhale, exhale the right leg away from the body, draw the heel towards the front of the room, toes pointed up, and have your leg about 2 or 3 inches off the floor. Inhale and let go of that activation. Exhale and lengthen from the hip all the way through to the heel. Inhale and release that activation, and exhale, lengthen, drawing the heel away from the hip and lengthening the whole leg. One more time. Exhale, lengthening the leg, strengthening the leg muscles and lengthening the leg muscles. And then you can just release the right leg down onto the mat, release the foot. And you're going to feel a passive stretch here from all the way up through the thigh. The psoas muscle is lengthening and stretching here. So the hip flexors, the psoas muscle that attaches the torso to the legs of the pelvis. And that front, that lowered leg, that right leg. Nice passive stretch. And then you can bring both feet back onto the mat. And we'll do it on the other side. So this time, take your left ankle over your right knee. And once again, on that exhale, draw the knee away from the body. Inhale and release. Exhale, draw the knee away from the body. Lengthen the thigh muscle from the hip joint to the knee. Inhale, release. Exhale, lengthen that thigh muscle. You'll feel the activation of the belly muscles also helping here. And one more time. And now bring the left foot down, bring the right knee in, interlace your fingers around the right knee. And we're gonna use the exhale to lengthen the left leg out away from you, heel drawing away from you. The leg is activated. This time lengthen and feel the left belly muscles activated to draw and activate that left leg, lengthening the left leg on the exhale. And then just back to neutral. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen using the left belly muscle. So all the way from the left belly muscle through to the heel. Toes are pointed up. Inhale. Exhale and lengthen, strengthening the left leg muscles. Left belly, deep belly muscles. Inhale, and one more time, really lengthen from the left belly, deep belly muscles, all the way through to the left heel. And then you can release that leg down onto the mat, let your foot relax. And feel that passive stretch of the left thigh muscles. Just continue to breathe here. Breathe into those left thigh muscles. And then you can bring both feet back onto the mat. Lift your hips up and you can take the blankets away from your body, away from the mat, and come around into table. So we really want to make sure we protect our wrists here in this weight bearing pose. So make sure that your wrist creases are parallel with the front of the mat, that your fingers are spread wide, lift up through your arms. Your knees are under your hips, about hip distance apart, feet are flat on the floor. Next long, and then we'll just start doing some side to side hip movements here, swaying the hips side to side. You can look around your shoulder to the swayed hip, lengthening from side to side. Nice, warming up that lower back and spine. And come to center, and then we'll begin some cat-cows, so dropping the tailbone as we roll our spine and round it up towards the ceiling, letting the head and the crown of the head drop last towards the floor. A nice rounding of the spine here, and then curling and arching the spine as we draw our chest forward through our arms, lifting the chest, spreading the collarbones, looking ahead into cat, into cow. Exhaling back into cat. Rounding the spine. Inhaling into cow. And just do a few more of these lovely movements, releasing the spine, keeping the movement moving from the tailbone through to the neck bones, and warming up the spine. Getting full movement in the spine, keeping the spine healthy, moving the spine to keep it healthy. And then you can come to center. Now you're going to take your right hand up towards the ceiling, out to the side and up towards the ceiling, and then swing it down and through the gap between your wrist and your hip as you start to rotate your body towards the right. Your head and ear can come down, on the side of your head can come down onto the mat. The back of the hand is on the mat. And here you are in a twist. If you want a little more of a twist and more of an opening in the shoulder, you can take the the left hand up behind you and place it on your lower back, opening up the left shoulder. So the right shoulder is getting a nice stretch here, as well as opening up that left shoulder. As well as twisting and rotating our spine to the left. Keep breathing. And then bring your left hand back to the mat and rise up to bring your right hand to meet your left, and we'll go to the other side. So this time taking the left arm up to the ceiling and then swinging it down and under your right underarm, lengthening that left arm out on the mat. Getting a nice stretch in the shoulder, the left shoulder. And then if you like, you want to take the right arm to the lower back, opening up the right shoulder. We'll give you a little more twist in the spine also. Breathe into the twist. And then you can unwind and sit back on your heels and give your shoulders a little shake out, your arms a little shake out here. And then come back up onto your knees and bring your right knee, right foot inside your right, into the inside of your right hand. Oh, I meant to say, if you have your blocks, you can bring your blocks to the, oh, sorry, excuse me. You can bring your blocks up to your, to the front of the mat here. If you don't have blocks, just use your fingertips. Now we're going to open up, lift the chest here. So if you have your blocks, you can even have them on the highest setting and really lift your chest. Your torso can begin to lift also. If you don't have blocks, just use your fingers to lift up. Make sure that your knee is under your heel. Your knee is above your heel, I'm sorry. And then if you want to do a little more of a balance, press that left shin into the mat and begin to raise your torso up. You can have your hands on your knees here and find your balance. Press the right foot into the mat, the left shin into the mat, and then you can take your arms out to the side and up beside your ears. The tailbone is drawing down towards the ground. The chest is lifted. The belly is lifting away from the top of the pubic bone. Get a nice lift here. When you're ready, turn your palms out to the sides of the room and lower your hands down. Back to your foot, to frame your right foot. Now you can take your left knee back a little bit until you feel a really nice and lengthening in the left thigh muscles. So just take it back to your comfort level so that you can feel a stretch in those left thigh muscles. And then we're going to begin to take our hips back, back, back. You can take your hands, walk your hands back. You can let your right toes come up off the mat as you feel a stretch now all the way up the back of the right leg. And walk your hands forward as the hips come forward. Feel that lifting of the chest and feel that lengthening of the left thigh muscles or the left quadricep, front of the thigh. And then walk the hands back to get a nice lengthening of that right leg. It's a little bit, we'll come forward again. It's a little bit like opening up from cat, so the chest is lifted. Inhale and then exhale as we round, take our hips back and round into a type of cat. Lengthening that right leg. Okay, come back to neutral and take your right knee back to meet your left knee and come back to tabletop. I'm going to go to the other side now. If I didn't mention it, if you do need extra padding for your knees, I always forget to say it because I have plenty of padding, so I forget to say it, but you can put a blanket under your knees here. So bring your left knee forward, the inside of your left hand. Check that your knee is above your ankle. Press your left foot into the mat. And then if you have blocks, you can put them on the highest setting and lift up. If you don't have blocks, you can just use your fingertips to lift your chest. Nice deep breaths here. Now, press the foot, the back foot and shin into the mat and the front foot into the mat as you begin to raise your torso to vertical. You can bring your hands to your left knee to keep your balance or to gain your balance. And then if you want to go a little further, you can bring your arms, actually this time we'll go out in front of us and all the way up beside your ears, lengthening the fingertips to the ceiling, the tailbone to the earth, chest is lifted, the front foot is planted, the back shin is planted. Breathe here in this opening pose, opening of the chest, balancing. And then you can bring your hands back down to the mat. Take that back knee, the right knee, take it a little further back if you need to. You may already be feeling a stretch in your right thigh muscles, but if you're not, you can just take your leg a little bit back, your knee a little back. Once again, lifting the chest here, feeling that lovely stretch up the quadriceps. of the right thigh, and then start to walk your hands and your hips back. Your left toes can come up off the mat as you draw the hips back, and feeling that stretch up the back of the right leg. The calf and the hamstrings, and then walk forward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, walk back. You can round the back, even let the head drop as you lengthen the back of the left leg. One more time. Inhale, walk forward, and exhale, take the hips back. Okay, and then bring that knee back and hand back, and you can sit back on your heels. We're going to do a little bit of shoulder work here. So if you have a block, I personally really love to have my block the mid-height and lengthwise, and I just put it under my sit bones right here. So it's kind of in a high kneel. It takes the pressure off my knees. I find it very comfortable. If you don't have a block, you can sit on a cushion, or if you don't have a cushion, you can just sit on your mat. You can sit on a chair if that's more comfortable for you. Do you want to have the tailbone as the taproot, going down into the earth, and then lengthen up through the spine all the way up to the top of the base of the skull. And have the shoulder, rest your shoulders away from your ears. Make sure that your chin is not jutting forward and your neck's not jutting forward. Just bring your head back a little bit so it's in line with your spine. And we'll just do some basic external and internal rotation of the shoulders. So have your hands by your side, arms by your side, and just turn your shoulders in for inward rotation. You can feel the space across your back, the shoulder blades drawing away from each other. And breathe into that space across your upper back, and then exhale. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't have to inhale here as you take your shoulders back into an external rotation. So your hands, palms of the hands coming towards the side of the room, collarbones wide, your shoulder blades are drawing in towards each other. So exhale into internal rotation. Inhale the shoulders, external rotation. So the palms, the whole arm is moving. The hands moving as the shoulders are moving back and forth. The shoulder blades coming forward and are coming away from the spine and towards the spine. And the collarbones are opening and lengthening in the external rotation here. And bring your arms up to shoulder height. Bend your elbows, palms facing forward, and really take take the arms back behind you, hands behind you in cactus pose, really opening up across the chest, widening the collarbones. Feel that the shoulder blades really drawing in towards the spine, drawing in towards each other. Breathe into your chest, opening up your heart. And then you can release your hands. Now, if you have a strap, you can use it. It's not necessary. If you don't have one, you can just use your hands. We're going to come into Garudhanasana. Garudasana. So I will demonstrate with the strap and then without the strap. So we're going to basically be sitting up high, lengthening through our side torsos, side bodies, and then just draw your right hand up towards the ceiling and have the strap, have it dangling in front of you, and then just take it behind you. Take one half of the strap behind you. You're going to now bend your elbow, keeping the elbow in as close to your ear as possible, and your hand coming down, still holding the strap. The hand is going to come down onto your back. If you don't have a strap, your hand is just going to be here. The palm of the hand facing the back, your back, or the back of your shoulders. And then swinging that opposite arm, the left arm, swinging it around, and then sliding it up your back. So the back of the hand is sliding up the back, and you can either hold the strap. If you don't have a strap, you can hold wherever you're at, your fingers. If you can reach your fingers, that's great. Or you can just use the strap to open up that shoulder area. So keep your elbows in close to your body. You're opening up the left shoulder here and lengthening up the right side of the body. Just like that. So keep breathing into that opening. Breathing into your shoulders. We're strengthening our rotator cuffs here, but keep the shoulder or the top of our shoulder bone, the humerus bone, in place by doing these exercises, keeping it stable, and then strengthening the muscles that hold that bone in place. And then you can release. Do a little shake out and go to the other side. So begin by lifting the left arm up by your ear, letting the strap dangle down behind you, or part of the strap, and then bending the elbow and keeping your hand on the strap there, or if you don't have a strap, your fingers are on your back and then swing, or back of your shoulders, swinging the right arm around and then sliding it up to meet the left hand. So lengthening up the left side of the body all the way up from the hip through to the elbow, opening up the right shoulder. And use that strap to get as much openness as you can in that area. Once again, if there's any sharp pain in the shoulder, back off, because it's a pretty intense pose. Just breathe here. Keeping the elbows in close to the body. Make nice, long, deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can release the strap or release your hands. And now we're just going to take your hands behind you, clasp your hands behind you, palms or knuckles drawing down towards the earth, opening up the chest, lifting the chest, opening up the heart, lengthening through the collarbones. And then if you like, you can, if your arms are straight and if it's comfortable, you can move your arms away from your body, giving more of an opening in the front chest. Really breathing in, and when you exhale, you can lift them a little further away, lift them a little higher. using the breath to open up the shoulders and the chest. See if you can take your inhales down into your lower belly and all the way up to fill up your chest. Exhales are long, smooth, and full and complete. And then release. You can roll out the shoulders, bringing the shoulders up to the ears and then all the way back. And then reverse. With a smile on your face. So another way to strengthen the muscles around the shoulder, I've been doing some anatomy classes, is weight bearing. So I'm going to come back to tabletop and we're going to move into a down dog. From a down dog, we're going to go into a plank. So then you're going to bring your shoulders forward over your wrists, and then we'll come back to a down dog, back to plank. We'll do it 3 times, and then we'll rest in child's pose. So you can bring your hands a little forward of your shoulders here. Tuck your, and we'll go slowly into our down dog. Tuck your toes under. Press your hands away. Press your hands into the mat as you start to lift your hips, keeping your knees bent. Lift your hips, take your sit bones up towards the ceiling, keeping the knees bent. So lift through the arms, take the sit bones up to the ceiling. Keep the neck long, looking through your legs. And then you can start to straighten one leg and bend, and the other leg and bend, walking the dog. So straightening one leg and then the other. And then finally bringing both legs straight. And then come forward. So bring your shoulders over your wrists into plank. And then back into down dog. The heels, your heels can come towards the mat, and then forward into plank, back to down dog, and we'll do it one more time. Forward into plank, and then back to down dog. Bring your knees to the mat, take your knees wide, and your toes can touch as you begin to bring your hips back. And relax down into child's pose. Your belly can come in between your legs. You can bend your arms and rest your head on your hands, or you can stretch your arms out and the forehead on the mat. And just let go. Feel the back ribs open up as you breathe into your back rib cage. And feel the sacrum sinking closer down into the earth, towards the earth. The hips are soft. Two more nice breaths here. And then you can start to raise your head. Come up slowly, because we were down there for a while. Don't want to get dizzy. Come up slowly. And when you're ready, come to standing. We'll do some standing poses to finish up our practice. Okay. So feet are hip distance apart. The hips are stacked over the ankles, shoulders stacked over the hips. The back of the neck is long. Coming into chair pose. Slowly bend your knees as you hinge forward at the hips. Take your sit bones back and the weight comes back into your heels. Draw your belly in and up to protect your lower back. And then take your breath all the way down to your groin. You can have your hands on your knees or you can bring them into prayer pose. Take 2 breaths here, strengthening our quadriceps. And the lower belly, keep the chest lifted. Broaden across the back of your lower back. And then take your hands down to the mat into forward bend. You can start to straighten your legs or you can keep your knees bent just so you can reach the mat. Let your whole spine release down to the mat, including the crown of the head. Sometimes we hold our head even if we think we've released it. So nod your head back and forth and to and fro, side to side. So you've got a full release of your neck. Back of the legs are being stretched. And then bend your knees, take your arms out to the side, arms all the way up to the ceiling, fingertips up towards the ceiling. So you lengthen up through the sides of your body, through the front of your body. And then start to come, take your hands down again into prayer. Take those knees are slowly bending. Hinging forward at the hips, sit bones back into chair pose. Broaden across your lower back. Draw your belly in and up to support your lower back. Keep your chest lifted and then take your hands down to the mat. Bow deeply. Back into forward bend. You can straighten your legs if that's comfortable. Let your head release, the crown of the head release to the mat. And torso comes in towards your thighs. Bend the knees, take the arms out to the side, all the way back up into upward hands. And we're going to go through that flow one more time. So nice deep breath as you bring your hands together and bring your palms down to prayer pose, taking the sit bones back, bending at the knees, hinging forward at the hips. The tailbone is neutral, so it's in line with the spine. And feel that energy from the tailbone through to the crown of the head. Nice deep inhale, keeping the belly activated. Shoulders are relaxed. 2 more breaths. Fingertips come to the mat with bent knees. Release down. You can start to straighten your legs if that's comfortable. Feeling the stretch up the back of the legs. Nod the head back and forth, side to side. Yes and no. Letting the shoulders cascade down. And we'll bend the knees, take the arms out to the side, coming back up into upward hands. If you like, you can even look up at your hands here in a very gentle back bend. Just lengthening up the sides of the body, the sides of the torso. And then bring the hands together and back down to heart center. Shake your hands out. And we'll finish up with a little balancing pose here. We'll come into tree pose. We haven't done that for a while. So if you need to find something to hold on to balance, and I know I've got on slippery pants, so I'm not going to be taking the sole of my foot up very high because I'm just going to slide up down. But bring your weight into your left foot. So make that whole left side heavy from the shoulder down to the heel, the left foot. And then start to lift the right knee a little forward, bend the right knee, then take that knee, rotating the whole of the thigh bone out to the one side, and you can rest your right heel on your left, inside of your left ankle. You can bring your hands to heart center. If you need to balance, just be holding onto a chair or a wall. If you like, you can start to slide that sole of the foot up your leg. I'm going to try, but I'm pretty sure these pants are. Oh. If your foot is up here, you can press the sole of the foot into the thigh and the thigh into the sole of the foot, but it's not going to work for me. I'm going to take my foot back down, and you can extend your arms up to full tree pose. And let the arms come down to the side, and then come back to center. And find the length and the weight in the right leg. Start to bend the left knee, taking that left knee out to the side of the room. And this time, just check that your hip points are equal across. They're both at the same height, horizontal to the earth. So we want those hip points to stay in line with each other. And this hip, bring it back up so that it's not jutting out. And then you can get ready to come into tree pose. So if you like to bring your hands to heart center, you can bring your hands to cactus. You can take your arms all the way up, fingertips reaching for the sky. You can slide your foot up your calf or all the way up your thigh. Finding your balance here. Find that focal point that you can focus on to help you with your balance. Somewhat ahead of you, and you can have your eyes downcast to that spot on the floor. As you lift up and ground down. Your roots are down into the earth, drawing nutrients. And your tree branches are growing tall. And now you can release back down, back to mountain. Take a couple of breaths here. And we can slowly start to come down to Shavasana. So to come lying on your backs, coming all the way down. If you want a blanket to cover you, to keep you warm, or a blanket to roll up under your legs, under your knees, to help with your lower back compression. If you have a pillow, I've got all my props here, a pillow to rest your head on. Basically what we're going to do here is let everything go. We're going to rest back, finding the most comfortable position that we can get into. So move around until you find that comfort level. Let your feet splay out to the sides. Let your arms relax by your side. No part of the body touching any other part of the body, unless you want to have your hands on your belly, if that's relaxing for you. Let your shoulders be ground down into the earth, and let the weight of your body fall into the earth. Feel the heaviness of your body. Gently close your eyes. And just let your body fully relax. I'm not sure if I'm still recording here. Oh, I am. Okay, let your body fully relax. Relax your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Relax your chest, across your chest and your heart. Relax across the backs of your shoulders, the tops of your shoulders, down your spine, lower back and sacrum melt into the mat. Belly melt down into the pelvis, into the mat. Hips, groin, thighs, knees, all relaxing, letting go. Lower legs, ankles, feet and toes. And just stay here, resting for as long as is comfortable and as long as you would like to be there. And I thank you all for joining the practice. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Gina.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't know I'm still on here. I'm trying to get out. But thank you, Christy. Thanks for coming. It was so great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. Have you lost weight?
No.
Oh.
I wish.
Well,
Oh, okay. Here I go. I'm going to end this now. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.